we'll start with the showcase. It's 15 minutes, usually 10 of presentation and 5 of Q&A, but you can break it up however you'd like. You could also have people interject with, via either just questions or via the chat, however you'd like. Do you want me to
Awesome, cool.
Give you a 10-minute warning at 10 minutes, and then you could just continue on, or you could go to Q&A?
You can give me a 10-minute. I'll get this up there. I think 10 minutes should be pretty good.
Okay, so I just
try to go concisely.
I just gave you share access. So Joe has a lead generation, email lead generation program called Outreach, or Organic Outreach, I'm sorry, and he'll tell you more about it. And by the way, I'm on it right now, and so I'm learning as we go.
Gotcha. Awesome. Yeah, we can dive right in. So yeah, guys, in this training, we'll be going through how to build a lethal in-house appointment setting team in 14 days that books 20 to 40 calls a month for you forever, so you can focus on scaling your business. So with this, really, this is working for high ticket B2B companies. We want to have something that's sustainable and also systematic. So that's really what we're going to go through, is how we do that with cold outreach and appointment setters, and how we can do it quickly in a really concise way. So on this, what we're going to cover really quick is step 1, using hyper-personalized outreach to convert cold leads at 10%. So a lot of people, they only convert people at like maybe 1%. And it's because they don't do personalization correctly. It's very automated, or it's, semi-personalized. So if you're sending cold emails or LinkedIn messages, you've got to be on par with that. So we'll go through that. Step 2 is hiring and ramping an affordable appointment setter to do the work for you. So you'll find out pretty quickly, personalized outreach takes a lot of time and effort, and you don't want to be doing that as a business owner all day. You want to scale your business. So we want to get an appointment setter hired quickly to do all that work for us. And then number 3, we want to go through crafting an SOP that documents that process. So when we hire that appointment setter, we're not just saying, hey, go do it and have fun, and we have no idea what's going on. We want to have a detailed procedure in place so that appointment setter can come in, look at step-by-step instructions, and be able to complete that for us. So everyone good so far? Any questions? I don't want to jump too fast.
Yeah, Joe does speak fast, so pay attention.
Yeah, I have a lot. I'm trying to finish the presentation in 10 minutes, but yeah, if I have to go over. But definitely, yeah. So first off, so why cold outreach? So a lot of you probably have used some other marketing channels, and you can have an appointment setter with a lot of them, right? So why use this? Cold outreach, I found, is just the best combination of being systematic, but also affordable. So usually, the more affordable something is, let's say it's partnerships, organic content, anything like that, the more affordable it is, the less systematic it's going to be. So it's going to be like, I'm doing a promotion or a one-off thing, or we're doing a big event or something like that. And then the more systematic something is, so it's more repeatable, I can put something in and get some sales out. Usually it's more expensive. That's paid advertising and things like that. So cold outreach is great because it's systematic, because we can put, some prospects in and we can get calls booked on a very repeatable basis, but it's not very expensive. I mean, usually it's a couple $100 in software cost. If you have an appointment setter, we'll be going through how to get an affordable one. So usually they're, $500, $600 a month. And again, if you're doing high ticket B2B service deals, it's very profitable. You get a huge ROI on that. So that's why we use it for appointment setting. So problem is with cold outreach, like I was mentioning before, people don't really do it correctly. They'll send kind of a blast cold email with no personalization, and they'll just kind of play the numbers game. They'll send 1,000 messages a day. And it's not going to convert. You may get one call out of 1,000, but it's just, you're burning leads and it's just not working well. So on top of that, you'll probably land in spam, have some software issues, and it's just, you don't want to do that. You just want to do cold outreach in the proper way. So once we have that, the real way of doing cold outreach, once we have that in place, that's when we can see a really high conversion rate. So that's what we'll get into right now, which is hyper personalized outreach. So appointment setting itself is going to fail when you send spammy messages. So if you have an appointment setter doing, cold emails for you, if you're just saying hi, Joe, I do this, buy my stuff, what do you say? They're going to be really turned off. It's going to come off very arrogant. It's going to come off very cold and sterile, and they're not really going to resonate with you. And again, you may get one guy out of 500, 1,000 people that just takes you up on the offer, but it's not connecting with them at all. So instead, when you do outreach, you want to use the personalization to connect with them at a deep level. So one way I can kind of say this, in an example, is, let's say, for example, I have a business owner who has an Inc. 5000 award. He went to Y Combinator and he's had 5 successful exits, right? Now I could say, hi, John, you have 5 successful exits and you were in Y Combinator. Great to see you're doing great work. And it might appear like, oh, that's a personalized line, but it's not really personalized. All I did was I regurgitated information, right? And I can also say, hi, John, it seems that you're a very hard worker, but where's the justification for that? I could have said that to anybody. So what you want to do is use information, but also compliments and like statements about people. You want both of that in your personalization. So you can say, hey, I read about you. Here's all the information I have about you and your company. And here's a statement I want to say about you because I read that information. And when you do both of those things, then it sounds like a genuine compliment. So like, as an example here, like this would be an example of like a kind of one of those spammier ones. Love what your agency is doing. You got the Inc. 5000 award and your clients seem to love you, right? So anyone can write that. It's not like, I'm proving I'm not a robot, but that's pretty much all I'm doing. Right? I'm not doing anything more than that. So instead, with that same lead, I can say, like getting 5,000 award wasn't enough for an achievement. You 2x revenue for 10 of your clients. So I look at his case studies page. I found out that he, 2x revenue for 10 of his clients. I grabbed that information. The chances are so small to 2x once, but to do it 10 times and be a father of 3, it just boggles my mind that you're able to accomplish all that. I can barely drink my coffee and read at the same time. So in this case, I'm calling out the fact that he has a family. Because on LinkedIn, his LinkedIn profile, he's a father of 3, but he has a successful business. A lot of people can't handle that at the same time. So I make another compliment about him. And then I can say, also love your progress in just 2 years, how you're able to jump from homeless to CEO without any formal education. So he had a content post that he was actually homeless years ago. And now he is a successful CEO of a marketing agency. And then you've helped more people with your business in 2 years than many MBA grads have done in their life. This is a lot about how committed you are to helping others. So you don't have to do like 5 lines. This is an aggressive example to show you guys how deep you can get. Usually you can do 2 to 3 lines, but this is just to show you all I grabbed was 3 pieces, basic pieces of information that I found on his website or LinkedIn profile. And then I just made it into a nice personal connection. I'm complimenting him as a person in that case. And then here's some examples too of just some numbers from Deployment Center. So this was Tim. He started just about 6-7 weeks ago, I think it was. And we took this screenshot 2 weeks ago. So we'll call like, month and a half or so with this. And Tim only sent 233 emails, but he got 25 interested leads from it. So it's around like a 10% interest rate. And this, just using this outreach, and you can see, 233 emails over 30 days, you're like, Joe, that's like what, 5 emails a day or something? Tim doesn't need to send that many messages in because he's focusing on this personalized outreach because he's getting so many leads per email he gets. It's at 10%. So we don't have to send 100 emails a day. We're only sending 5 to 20, let's say, Tim. And honestly, Tim's ramping now, but in the beginning, we want to start him low. So this is the beauty, is that in his first month, he can get this many leads, even though he's starting brand new emails and he's kind of warming it up.
Wow, are there 10 things in the chat? What's going on here? Okay, nope, still going, no questions.
Yeah.
I have 3 minutes left. Does it seem like it's been 12 minutes?
Not sure. Time runs fast.
I might have put it at 10 by mistake. So just keep going, and I'll tell you when my timer ends, and then we'll do a couple.
Okay, yeah, I'll try to go through this one a little bit quicker too. Yeah, then in this case, so on step 2, hiring and ramping the affordable appointment center. So actually getting an appointment center in. So once you know the outreach process, you're running personalization, you want someone else to do it for you. So you don't want to spend time hiring the perfect appointment setter. A lot of people will do that. So they'll try to get someone that's got all this experience. All you really need is just to have someone that has a little bit of outbound experience and they speak your language or your prospect's language fluently and they write it fluently. If you've got that, the SOPs you're going to have in place that we'll talk about in a second will do 95% of the work, all the processes you have in place. You don't need someone that needs to think deeply about stuff. They're just simply doing a task, right? So you want to get someone that just meets those requirements. And usually you can source these people from lower cost of living countries like Philippines and Mexico. Those are just to name a few. So they have really good education. They can speak and write English fluently, English being our example, but they can also do the SOPs and follow those tasks accordingly. These are just a couple of the ones that I source from. So this is Virtual Workforce Pros, Online Jobs PH, Upwork, and Fiverr. You can pretty much use any of these. I prefer these top 2 over the other ones. And this is just to source them. So you can put a job post up, or Virtual Workforce Pros, you can email them and say, hey, I need a virtual assistant, however you want to do it, but you'll source it from them. And just like I said, basic outbound experience is all you need. And the cool thing is once you hire them, you can then do a test. You can test them out. So you want to vet these VAs. So what I usually do is I get 2 or 3 VAs from these different sources, and then I'll give them an SOP on how to write personalized outreach like I just showed you guys. And then I'll have them try it out on a couple of test leads. So they'll go through, they'll write it, they'll bring it back to me. I'll take a look at it. Then I'll say, okay, this is good, but here's some feedback. And then after that feedback's given, then they'll rewrite it, and then I'll examine how they did. And from there, I'll just pick the best VA or the best appointment setter that did the best work as far as the personalization is concerned. So that way you don't have to worry about them having all this experience. They can just prove to you in that vetting process, hey, this guy can really write personalization. And then if we're going on time, like one more step here, detailed step-by-step monkey-proof SOPs. So what I mean by monkey-proof is basically, we want to make SOPs that actually work, and they're very step-by-step and detailed. We don't have any, ambiguity with it. So basically, for you guys that don't know at this point, a standard operating procedure, that's what I mean by SOP. It's a step-by-step process documenting that tasks that your employees can execute for you. That way you can give it to them and delegate it to them completely. And basically, you want to make it very detailed. So you can't just put a lot of people will do this. They'll take a Google Doc and they'll put a Loom video or a really quick video of them doing something, and they'll just throw it on Google. And it usually doesn't work because you can't really track where they are in that, number one. Number two, usually they have to go find something. So they're scrolling through a video. It just doesn't work. So you want to properly document every single step of the lead generation process. And you want to have it step-by-step with written instructions, with images and all that stuff. So they know exactly what to do. So they don't bug you, right? You don't want to have an SOP and appointment setup. We want to have those people in place so we can delegate the work, not so they can ask us questions all day and ask us how this lead gen's process is supposed to work. We want it all to be in that document. And it may take you some time. We may need to develop it over time or add some detail into it 100%, but you want to at least begin that process now. That way you can truly delegate to them.
Okay, so we've reached the end of the 15 minutes, or maybe it's the 10 minutes. If I put in, it was only 10 minutes, so you have 5 minutes left. That's good. I thought it was short. Do you want to continue, or do you want to open it up to questions?
I'm happy to open up to questions.
So I'm actually, just to let people know, I'm actually I signed up with Joe's program. It's called Organic Outreach, and I'm actually using it to reach out to build the trusted referral network. I mean, my feeling is that building that generates leads both for me and for others in the network, and for obviously the new members. And I was actually under the impression that I had to continue writing all of the personalized intros, but I think I'm just on the what is it, MVM, minimum viable?
Yeah.
What's the M, second M, minimum viable
message.
So we're sort of testing it at this point, and it does take time. So if you could find somebody to do that for you with, effectively in terms of writing those outreach intros, and I hope we'll be testing it. I hope it will work and work well. So Joe, there's Rajiv is asking, is this a done for you service, and what is the cost?
Gotcha. Yeah, no. So the cost for us doing it for you is $8,800 one time, just a quick setup fee. And it's a done with you service. So essentially we come in, right? We give you the training assets, SOPs, and templates right off the bat. We have a kickoff call with you. Michael can attest to this. And then depending on where you are with your outreach, we'll either begin doing the testing phase, like Michael's talking about, where we'll kind of work through some messaging. You'll send some sequences out, stuff like that. Or if you're a little more advanced and you want to, again, maybe you've done some outreach already and your message is a little tighter, then you'll go right to our second stage, which is the appointment setter hiring. So for there, we'll actually hire the appointment setter for you. We'll do the vetting process for you in the back end. We'll say, hey, basically here's someone we know that works. We've already, pre-vetted them for you. You'll kind of officially hire them. Then you'll pay the cost of that in the software. So it is going to be on your end, right? But the physical appointment setter hiring work and all the coaching and support it is there for you as well. So Michael can attest that as well. We have one-on-one support. We have one-on-one support calls anytime. It's a lifetime program. So after you pay that setup fee, you get us for life. So at any point you have a question about this, if you want a new appointment setter, if you have a business related issue or need some support with that, we'll get in the support call with you to kind of manage that.
Right. So this is
essentially $800 as a turnkey setup.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. Just a one-time fee.
And so it's more like a course you're buying with support, and more than support. There's helping you. Joe is great. I asked a question this morning or last night about how do I using the tools, and Upticks is one of the tools. It's an email marketing. It's very focused on sort of drip marketing and customization. It's very sophisticated tool. Asked him, how do I personalize the subject line? And he got back to me with a video showing me how to do it. So
is there a way to do it without the 800? I didn't understand if the 8,800, if it's all done for you, Is there an alternative if you have a team and you're doing the work?
Oh yeah, so basically we'll take on done for you related stuff. If you want like the whole thing done for you, we take those kind of one at a time. So what you could do is if you wanted that, you could book a call, with my team. We can discuss that. We only will kind of consider 1 or 2 of those a month, but the normal one we do with 8800, essentially that's like, the normal way we do it. It's more with a done with you structure. But again, it's just that one-time fee. We do have other like payment options too. I mean, we have payment plans, we have financing options. So if there's, if that's, a struggle, we can work with that. But if it's more of like, physically doing the work, you can still book a call with our team. Like I said, we'll take those kind of one at a time. But we've taken people on that have been more like kind of a done for you, where we set the software up, we'll do deployment center hiring right at the bat, we'll do the messaging, things like that.
Yeah, and the I guess he raises prices because I paid 7,800 just a month ago. So you missed out.
By the end of the call, it's 9,800.
Yeah, if you guys don't book today, it's going to be 10-8. But that's
yeah, I mean, I figured there are other people that do this. It's like 3,000 a month. Maybe that's more done for you. I don't know. I figured once it's automated and you are paying for the VA, right? So that's 600 to 900 or 1,000 a month. And you're also paying for some software, which probably adds up to about 150 a month or something.
Yeah, probably around there.
So Upticks, UPTICS is one of the pieces of software somebody asked, that's Rajiv asked about that. That's sort of the core because that's what's driving the, that's what's driving the email outreach. But then there's a few other things, you can't do cold emails without warming up your email address, so the domain. So you have to get a few domains. There's some tools that will warm up those emails so that they don't appear to be spam. And that takes a couple of weeks, 3 weeks or so for that to happen. It sort of just builds up using the email to connect with other people in the network. And then what else is there? There's Apollo, which is a lead gen, a lead list source. And then maybe 1 or 2 others. You have your email accounts, right?
Yeah, I would say too, like this might clear a couple of people's like thoughts about it too. I know like a lot of done for you agency buddies who like they do like completely turnkey done for you agency stuff, and they just deliver appointments on your calendar. So if you're like if you have a healthy client base and like lead flow right now, and you're trying to just kind of amp it up, I'd go with like a done for you setup. With us, we're done with you. We're more focused on getting an in-house system for you in place. So not only like you get everything set up with us, but let's say, for example, if you just decided never to talk to me or my team, after 60 days, you say whatever, you have the SOPs, the process, the templates, and you own the VA. So then you can run that yourself. So then internally you have that lead gen. So that's kind of our focus. So if you're more like, I just need I want some heat on it, you can definitely I'm happy to refer some done for you agency friends. That's more of that. So for us, we're more getting the infrastructure set up, helping you along the way with that support, and obviously helping you with all the stuff you don't need to do, like hire an appointment setter and stuff. But then give you those processes in place. That way you got it in-house with your company.
All right, great. One more question, if anybody has one.
I know Jacob asked about the reporting. Yeah, so like the objective reporting, what we do kind of in our program is we'll say like, here's the KPIs you should be looking at, but you'll still be obviously managing the overall reporting from that. So what I usually do is we'll check in with people like in the first, like let's say 3 to 4 weeks, we haven't talked. We'll check in, hey man, how are your results going? How are outreach going? And depending on what the results are for those first kind of campaigns, they're doing well, we'll say, oh, good, we'll keep going. Or number 2, if they go off of the conversion rates we show in like in our training videos, we'll say, hey, let's get on a support call. Let's try to figure this out and figure out where that issue is. And that's for like our normal client. You guys, if you're a little more advanced and we already have an appointment setter for you, then we're going to be going through kind of the kickoff call, what we should be expecting and stuff like that. But Upticks, the software we use in this case, they have all the reporting available to you. Like the data is all in there, like as far as like open rates, reply rates, if you book a call, like all that stuff, we kind of show you how to set that up. So Upticks really is kind of your one source of truth for outreach in that case.
Cool. Okay. Thank you so much. I'm going to actually, if you could stop sharing.
Yeah, no problem.
Wonderful. We'll get back to our gallery. Thanks, Joe. And now you'll get a chance to meet everybody else in the group here, at least the folks that showed up, and one guest. Somebody just dropped. All right, whatever. So here is, I'm going to drop in the chat the list of people as they showed up. So Andrew, Rajiv, Alan, and then Rochelle, Ken, Victor, Jacob, Keith, in that order. We could definitely do 3 minutes, I think. So Andrew, why don't you take it away? If everybody else would go on
Spoiling
mute.
us with an extra minute.
What's that?
You're spoiling us with an
An
extra
extra
minute.
minute. Yeah. If everybody else could go on mute, because I'm using the speaker view. So
I think
who's
Andrew
who's
dropped off, Michael.
Oh, Andrew dropped off. All right. Rajiv, you can start.
Yes. Okay. Hi, everyone. Nice to see you all. I turned my camera off because I was having a late breakfast. So yeah, I obviously didn't want to treat you all to the sight of me stuffing my face with peas. Yeah, so that's my excuse. Okay, so as far as what do I do? So I work for R Square Media. We do reputation management, which is both propagating the good, so it's seen prominently on Google and Facebook and LinkedIn. So it's basically creating the content, positioning it in a way that it's seen prominently. Sometimes the clients are aggressive, like they want to dominate the first 3 links of the search result, whether it's on Google, YouTube, etc. So those are outcomes we help to deliver. So we help with the creation of the content as well as the positioning of the content, both. And then on the flip side, we also do reputation repair, which is basically when the client is a victim of some kind of misinformation on Google. It could be bad press, it could be bad reviews, it could also be his or her private information that is ruining their peace of mind. I'll give you a quick story. So there was this client that reached out a few months ago who was in the job market and received a high 6-figure offer from her dream company. And then the company retracted that offer thinking that she's a criminal. And what happened was that when they Googled her, they saw someone appear that looked like her. They were both blonde and had the same first name, different last name. The person that appeared was someone that has a criminal record, and they thought that the person, the applicant, the client, has a criminal record, and then quickly retracted the offer. So she contacted us to get that deleted quickly, which we did fast as well. And she was then able to salvage the situation. So sometimes even very benign information like the stuff that's floating on Truth Finder, People Finder, Radaris, et cetera, sites like that publish information of your name, age, address, who you're married to, who you're divorced from, if you have any criminal record or anything like that, that can also do a lot of harm, especially if it's seen prominently on Google, because for people that don't know you, that'll be their first impression. And you kind of don't want your kind of business in front of all and sundry. So these are some of the services we offer. It's a success guarantee. So if the outcome is not delivered in the forecasted timeframe, the client has the option of requesting for a full refund, which we process immediately, or give us more time to try a different approach. So that's kind of like what we do. My ask is to meet people that work in public relations, crisis communications, branding, as well as other internet marketing people, because usually clients assume that these sets of people would know what to do when this situation arises. So that's my ask. And thank you all for your attention, and have an amazing rest of the day.
Thank you. And I think Lee's reached out to you, right? Lee's, what's her last name? From Bazzini, Lee's Bazzini. It's a while back.
Yeah, the name sounds familiar.
All right. Maybe didn't turn into anything. She's a PR person. Speaking of
Okay.
PR people, Alan Winikoff, you're up.
Hey, everybody. We are a public relations and social media firm, nearly 20 years old. For obvious reasons, we haven't been doing social media for the entire 20 years, but that has become a big part of our business. We work primarily in media and entertainment, and also with nonprofits. We work a lot with startups. Sometimes nothing to do with media or nonprofit. As a matter of fact, I'll use this time to talk briefly about a case study that I'm starting with, thanks to Michael, who introduced me to a healthcare telemedicine startup, which we are launching in January, the official PR launch. And it's one of those situations where we need to be the marketing guru for all things relating to marketing and branding. So in addition to PR and social, we are also connecting with third-party partners to help this client get off the ground. A website developer, a designer, video production company, SEO. So there's a lot of other services that we are kind of the gatekeeper for to help them with everything they need. And of course, all of these other aligned companies, we all focus on branding and messaging. And it will be our job in the next few months to make sure, as we bring in third-party partners, to make sure that the messaging that we are really driving and the brand identification is all seamless, so that nobody is going in the wrong direction. And that's our job, to make sure the messaging is consistent and strong. So there's a lot of different pieces, but this is the kind of thing we do. No PR firm can just be a PR firm these days. You have to offer a much, much broader scope of services, either internal or through trusted partners. And that's what we do. So if you know anybody that might be looking to launch a new business, let us know. We're happy to talk to them.
Launch a new business or media, entertainment, nonprofits. Wonderful. Okay, got that down. Who is next? Rochelle, then Ken.
Hey, okay. Rochelle with dynamic business growth. And I always say it's dynamic business growth and not schlep along business growth. And I always find that clients have a really rough time speaking about their business in a compelling way. They are long-winded, common, dull, boring. I mean, I can go on and on. There are so many presentations that I've either checked out or fallen asleep to. And one was so bad that I went over to him. Thank God it's a friend of mine. And I said that I would even fine him. He deserved a summons because it was so bad. I mean, to get somebody out of bed at 7:30 in the morning at a networking event and to go through that, I thought was painful. So here, how do we talk about our business in a compelling way? So very often people put a size 10 foot of information into a size 6 shoe. They sound like everyone else in their industry. And then they're concerned, like, I can't imagine why somebody's not working with me. So when it comes to creating dynamic business stories, it's where I create some of my best work. I'll give you a really quick example. I had somebody, this was great, financial planner, insurance. He works with, life insurance, disability insurance, long-term care. And he says he's having a hard time getting appointments. And I'm like, you're talking to me that I'm going to be broke, crippled, and disabled, and you want to know why somebody doesn't wake up and talk to you? I mean, like, we have to revamp that. Nobody's going to come to you when you're focusing on that. I had another client, nutrition. She was focusing on, we're going to be anti-carbs, anti-gluten. I mean, the only thing she left out is that you can inhale and exhale. She didn't take, air out of the equation. So I told her, I says, what you really do is you help women win the war of Haagen-Dazs and pizza. And we go from bloomers to bikinis. Well, her practice, tripled. So it's really important to talk about your business in an exciting, compelling, memorable, emotional way. And that's what I want to, just remind people of. It's even equally important if you're looking for any kind of investment dollars. Why should somebody write you a check for a couple $100,000? So it's very important to have an exciting, compelling message. So that's what I'm about, and that's what I'm sticking to it.
And it's both the verbal, so presentation and written, correct?
Yeah, I work with somebody that does the design on the written. I do all of the verbal. It's also just speaking. If you've got to do any kind of a speaking presentation, a sales presentation, most sales decks have to be rewritten because it's about the company. My name is John Smith. I'm doing this for 25 years and I'm located in Midtown Manhattan and I don't care. So it's all about them and it's not client focused and we need to reverse that.
And is your the person who does your presentation design, I assume they're a trusted partner?
I'm dragging her in, kicking and screaming.
She doesn't want to come in. All right, good.
She'll be here.
All right. We got to give her the opportunity to get to
Yes.
know how wonderful we are.
Exactly.
All right, great. Simon, you're up.
Hello there. Fresh back from 10 days in California on vacation. So had a great time. So I'm still trying to figure out which way is up today. I'm Ken Simon, KBS Marketing. I work with small and mid-sized companies, helping them understand who their customers are, what their needs are, and then develop strategies for them to use to target those companies and grow their business. I help develop demand generation programs and strategies. I get involved with content management and content development, website design. I've also been involved with setting up email campaigns and managing those, pay-per-click campaigns, whatever it needs to take to generate the demand that they're looking for. I work with small and mid-sized companies, usually B2B, but lately it's been a combination of B2C and some other weird stuff. I'm involved with some space companies as well, rocket companies. But anyway, and I usually target companies in the financial services space, technology and service area.
You're going to tell us a little more about the rocket company, or is it all hidden?
Well, it's actually, I'm working with this company in Australia, of all places. I'm helping them with their business plan and marketing plan. They're trying to raise capital. It turns out that countries are trying to set up their own space capability. So they're funding companies, these companies that can support their own launch needs. And so the company I'm working with is an Australian startup. Right now it's about 12 people, and they're looking for funding. They've already developed the rocket engine. They're developing a single stage rocket to deliver CubeSats into low Earth orbit, unless the Russians keep blowing up satellites in the low Earth orbit and destroy everything. But so they're looking for funding so that they could do a proof of launch and proof, of that right now. So they're in the process of manufacturing their initial manufacturing of the engine and initial rocket. But so we're trying to help them get money from the Australian government and other venture capitalists in Australia to do that. And so it's kind of interesting. It's totally outside of my experience, but I'm excited to be working with them.
Cool. How did you end up with that client?
Very convoluted. I met somebody in England who is involved with the space industry, and this was one of his clients. And so he just sort of matched us together. So I'm like working with this company right now. We're working on their website and the marketing plan. So it's sort of, you never know which way things are going to go and who you're going to meet. So it's you just need to keep talking to people and networking with people.
That's what it's all about. Okay, Victor, then Jacob, then Keith.
Thanks, Michael. So Ken, it sounds like everybody's looking for their own space force. I guess is what I hear. So anyway,
that's true.
So I'm Victor Lee, and I work with the folks in my network to find interesting business opportunities, and then try to create transactions out of them. And so I usually get a commission on these, and then I share the commission with anybody who's been involved in the transaction, including, in many cases, folks on this call. I use what I call the fox and the hedgehog strategy. As you may have heard, there's an expression: the fox knows many things, and the hedgehog knows one big thing. So my clients are like hedgehogs, right? They're really good at what they do, and they really specialize at something. The foxes are the super connectors in my network. So I can reach out to them and say, hey, I've got these interesting companies. Do you know anybody who could use them? And then we try to put a deal together. So for example, Rochelle is the foxiest of the foxes. So she connected me with a guy. So I'm working with a company that does, they turn Zoom events into online game shows. They hold these trivia events, and they're very interesting, funny, engaging. I met these people through Rajiv. And so we're looking for nonprofits, corporate events, fundraising events, holiday events, all those kinds of things. And so, for example, Andrew, who's not on the call right now, is bringing us to a nonprofit that he's the president of. So they're a potential direct client. And then Rochelle introduced us to a company that does work for nonprofit fundraising events, and some major nonprofits in the US. So we've had a couple of great conversations. Most of the time we spend talking about how much everybody likes Rochelle. So that takes up usually about 90% of the call. And then, but they're very excited about partnering with us. So what they do is they help facilitate the pledging at nonprofits. You do it through your phone. And then what we would do is provide content and entertainment and engagement to make you a little bit more open to opening up your wallets. So that's a terrific opportunity, because also then we're selling wholesale, really, right? We're not selling retail. And the same thing with Michael. So Michael, I have a call set up on Friday with your friend Ed, who's also an event producer. So he could bring us into a lot of his things. So that would be terrific. And then every now and then I just find sort of odd situations. I got a call one day from a friend of mine he had an assignment from an Ivy League business school, and he needed some help. So I dragged Rajiv into it. And so we've also had conversations with Rochelle about that, and Howard, and I think some other folks, as potentially helping us with this project. So I'm just looking for interesting situations, trying to put things together and make deals happen. And then hopefully there's money to go around for everybody. That's my plan. As I say, I make connections for fun and profit.
I like that tagline.
Thanks.
All right, good. Yeah, I would have actually also introduced you to Aaron Chapman, but Aaron, her group actually is highlighted in the your client's website. So I guess he knows Aaron already.
Okay, you beat us to it.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, she runs a networking group, and I think that's what's highlighted in the on his website. Jacob, I hope you're still with us.
Still am. Thank you very much, Michael. I'm really happy to be here. Nice to meet everybody on this call. I do something very, very specific. I help small local companies get more customers very, very quickly using Facebook ads. Facebook ads, something that you are all familiar with, at least from the viewing point of view. You all come across them all the time. The scary thing, frankly, about Facebook is how much you can target when you are using them. And so with local small companies who know exactly who their customers are, it's really a question of putting into place the right targeting, expanding the radius of geography where they're the area they're willing to serve, and then finding an offer that's great and rolling it out there. And so that's what I do. I spent the past year focused mainly on businesses in the tree services industry. This is in North America. And now I'm transitioning into other industries. And actually the reason why I came across, Michael mentioned earlier, we met in a different marketing group, and he invited me here. And so my ask, actually, of course, everybody wants new clients, but really what I'm looking for right now is I'm just looking to learn about other industries, looking for opportunities that fit my criteria. So it is, again, local, small businesses. This is B2C. My clients are B2C. And yeah, I just want to talk with people and learn about new ideas and new directions. So very inspired by what I've heard so far. There's some interesting things going on here. Very cool.
And Jacob shared with me, and that's no pun on his last name, that the reason that
never heard that one before.
He's willing to share. You could use that a lot. I mean, you could say I changed my name because that's my motto. The tree services in North America, apparently they have more business than they can handle because of all the storms and the climate change is driving their business, as it will be for things like seawalls. So if you want to invest now, I would invest in cement companies or sand, because they're running out of sand too to make cement.
Jacob, I just took a quick look at your website. Is the tree business, that's your primary business? It's like it on your website.
That was what I was focused on the past year. That's right. Now I'm transitioning. So yeah, the site will be updated once I have a new niches to focus on.
Yeah. I mean, so tree services obviously were roaring, and now they're sort of overwhelmed. But those types of businesses are the ones that Jacob works with. All right, and clearly an expert in Facebook ads in particular. Alan, I know you do social media marketing, but this is perhaps somebody you could work with in a very targeted way.
That's interesting.
Yeah, actually, I just want to say I was really interested by what Alan said. I am looking for trusted partners, people that I can send business to because they're adjacent and it's not something I want to spend my time on. So yes, absolutely, that'd be great.
All right, let's talk.
Cool. So you guys
sure.
can exchange in the chat. You can exchange your LinkedIn. Anybody, of course, can. Keith Reynolds. I almost said Keith Richards. I don't know. I don't think he plays as well as Keith Richards. You're up, Keith Reynolds. I hope you're still there. Did he drop?
No, I'm
Oh.
here. That's happened to a few times in my life. People do call me Keith Richards. I'll take it. I look better than him at this point in life. So I am founder of Publio and spent the last 6 months putting an online class and a podcast up online, and it launched a couple of weeks ago at Publio, PUBLI.io. And I am turning from R&D to sales mode. I have a three-pronged offering. One is my traditional fractional CMO service, which I maintain a retainer-based relationship with a couple companies. I have a workshop that I teach, and I also have an online class that just launched last week. And it's been exciting. We recorded about 40 videos, had them produced. They're a combination of overviews of marketing concepts, inbound and media concepts for in-house teams, as well as worksheets. And I'm now in full-blown campaign, try and start filling the class up and have online office hours and one-on-ones to support the class. And I'm trying to find small companies and in-house teams that want to have a standardized set of processes and really do the work to have the back end of their marketing operational, as well as the front end of their storytelling. And then also the technology to implement. So I was very interested about today's presentation. I think it would be good for my clients. I think it would also be good for myself. And really appreciate having it, because I've got to fill the pipeline. I'm heads down on sales. Victor, I love your presentation and would love to see if there's a way that we can work together, because that's the code I got to crack. I've got to figure out how to get 20 people a month into the class. That's my goal.
Yeah, let's chat.
Great.
Yeah.
And,
so yeah,
and your target for people, you said small businesses, or what's the target, ideal target for the?
Yeah, it has to be a company that's marketing ready, that understands that that they need a brand. They have to have a system to generate leads. Very much what we learned today. I help clients plan that out. So they have one or two marketing people, maybe some freelancers supporting it, and they don't know why they're getting results or why they're not getting results. And so we use a very agile system. I've got worksheets and training, and some of it's self-study, some of it's hands-on work with teams to get them prepped to start spending money. I mean, why spend money before you have a plan?
Interesting. Oh, by the way, and I believe Joe can tell you more about this. He's got something that I think is pretty valuable. It's a community site where people can ask questions of each other and have a back and forth. That's part of his program. So if people are, if 10 people are in your class and they join, that gives them a way to ask questions of you and ask questions of each other.
Interesting.
Yeah. Okay. Did I miss anybody? If not, then I will go. So as you know, my name is Michael Bendit. My company is called Software Development Resources. I'm an independent rep for software development teams. So that actually positions me in a very unique way. If you go directly to a software team, they will say yes almost invariably, whether they really have the skills or not. They can say, yeah, we can do that, which is oftentimes a disservice to the client because they don't necessarily have the experience that the client needs. So I represent about 10 different teams, and my job is to make sure I match the need to the team, or the team to the need. And so people come to me when they're not really sure, what type of platform, or should they use an onshore team, an offshore team, whatnot. And my job is to understand their budget, understand the complexities, understand if they've got some sort of technical requirements. Do they need to use a particular platform? Are they transitioning from one platform to another? And then pick the team among the ones that I work with that has the most relevant experience at the right cost. I tend to do a lot of work with my dual shore teams. Those are teams that have some people here in the US, but most of their developers are offshore, so that you benefit from the low cost of the offshore resources, but don't have to deal with all of the complexities, the language barriers, the cultural differences, all time zone differences that are associated with working with offshore teams, directly offshore teams. Just recently got a call from a former client who we built they're a startup. They're actually in a passport and license expediting company. So if you need to get your license plate or whatever, immediately, they can do it for you, next day or something. So they know, and this is around the country. And we helped them upgrade their operation system. They had a prior developer who basically left them sort of in the lurch, and we cleaned up his mess and made it a lot better. She also happens to have a side business that is a reference library for car dealerships for what are the requirements to expedite a license by state. And she charges for that. And it's a website and it's a mess. And so she called us up because we did such a good job the last go round to see if we could fix this one. And so far, my understanding is she wants to go ahead with it. She was happy with the price, the team, and we'll be able to do this using WordPress actually for probably $7,000. So those are the types of the best leads for me actually are marketing agencies, digital marketing agencies that sometimes don't have the resources in-house to do all that development work, or sometimes they just don't have the right skill set, even if they've got a few programmers in-house. So something might come across their transom that they just don't have, the skills for, and so they outsource it. I'm going to go back to gallery mode. So we only have 2 minutes left. I want to thank Jacob for joining us, and all of you, of course, for joining us. We did lose a couple of people. I guess Joe had to jump, as well as Andrew. Again, like Rochelle, if you've got a trusted partner that you've worked with, that you think would benefit from being a part of this group, please introduce them, send them the links to every week when I send out the email, I have a link to that guest site where people can sign up to just come to the meetings, or you can just introduce them to me. I'd be happy to tell them all about the group and how to get involved. So thank you all. Always great to see you. Enjoy the rest of your day. Jacob, enjoy the rest of your evening, your dinner or whatever out in Israel. And do get in touch with, if Jacob, if you want to meet somebody in the group whose name you can't remember or whatever, just ping me, and I will put you in touch with them. And that's of course true for everyone. Trying to make the website easier so that you can find people more directly with their names. And right now it's just a business name search. Great. Thanks, everybody. Have a wonderful day. And I will see some of you, I'm sure, next week.
Bye.
Take care.